All right, hello. So today is gonna be a little more chill than usual. Um, Mainly because I didn't feel like playing any games, but I wanted to do something. And I remember I told myself that I was like, oh, maybe one day I just stream while practicing, um, making a game. And I was like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. So that way I can knock out two birds, one stone. Get some, let's see here. Get some practice in and whatnot. I don't know if you can hear it though. I'm using the new. I didn't know they had one, but apparently Lo-Fi Girl did have a extension and allows you to play some sounds. It even allows you to play some of their music, I think. But it's mainly just sounds. And I might end up getting very sleepy during the stream. Because if you put any kind of like rain noise in the background for me, it'll make me very sleepy. And right now it's even raining outside. Supposedly it's supposed to be heavy rain. It's like on and off for me though. And I was like, you know what? Let me practice GameMaker. I'm trying to learn how to learn how to do GameMaker, and then as well as just practice with it so I can eventually make my own game. I am learning how to do a game that I'm learning how to do a type of game that I'm not gonna do later, but it's mainly just for me to learn how to use it, understand its basics, and so far I need a more to go, a long more ways to go in order for me to remember a lot of this stuff. But we're gonna scratch that off my to-do list so that way I can put it in, and then after like maybe a good hour or so or working on it, go into a game. I probably might just hop into Wuthering Waves just to chill. If not, then we'll probably do Lost Ark. I haven't played Lost Ark in a good while, and I want to jump back into it. Let me set up real quick how this is gonna go. So I have this up. Let's see. So the main one is gonna be on the big one here. Main screen's gonna be there, except you won't be able to see it very well. Maybe make this a little bigger. It doesn't cut off. I'm just gonna cut off this because I kind of want it. I guess that's not gonna work out. Okay. At this screen. How does it look though? I didn't check how it looks. I gotta tune into my own screen. Oh, that looks fine, actually. Okay. It looks okay. Then we'll lock that in. Lock that in. We're gonna have another display. A display capture. Which is my OBS. But that's not what's gonna show. Down here, so capture 2. Because this is where I'm gonna have my how-to video. And then chat should be right. Then let me pull out my PNG tuber. My PNG self. There I am. There we go. I kind of want it behind me though. So minimize myself a little more. A little more. It'll work, I guess. Okay, so let me launch this. And then, I opened up my other thing. Turn that off. On the other side. But then I won't be able to see chat. I'll just pull it up on my phone, right? Oh, I actually lost internet. Wow, look at that. Jump game, mark it on. Okay.
You through part 1 of a 4-part series teaching you how to create this game called Fire Jump using GameMaker Studio and drag and drop coding. So this is an infinite platformer where you play as a firefighter and you rescue civilians as you jump from window ledge to window ledge. There is a lot going on here, and you're going to learn how to do all of this, and you don't need to have any coding experience or background or anything. We're going to have records for your gameplay, we're going to have a menu, we're going to have sound effects and music, and we're going to do all of this using drag and drop, so you don't have to do any coding at all. There's also a full written up series for each of these parts if you want to follow along by reading instead of watching. On here and in this video description, you will find all of the assets that we'll be using for this series.
I don't care too much about that.
Download them. And let's go
I'm
ahead.
a visual person, you gotta show me.
First thing we're going to have to do is make a new project. So if you don't have GameMaker open, go ahead and open it up and then click on New Project. If you already have it open, go ahead and click on File, New Project. And we want drag and drop, not GameMaker language. If we do this, we can give it a name. I'm going to say Fire Jump, and this is part 1, so I will call it part 1. Now,
I'm watching the very first video. Hold on.
Asset browser, which we're going to be looking at throughout this entire series.
There we go. I hate this YouTube UI. It's so annoying.
And welcome to part 2 of Fire Jump. My name is Aaron Craig with Let's Learn This Together, and today we're going to be tackling adding in states for our player, spawning and being able to rescue civilians, adding in a score, and a cool jump effect when we move from window to window. So this is part 2. If you are just watching this video, make sure you go back and watch part 1. I show you where to grab the assets, and we're going to build on what we made in that first part. Otherwise, let's go ahead and dive in. So the first thing we're going to do is add in a few more sprites for our player. So right now we only have the player going up into the air, but we want to add a few more sprites for when they are falling, when they are jumping, and then we'll also get eventually to when they hit fire and we kind of kill them because, well, you're not supposed to touch fire in real life or in games most of the time. So I'm going to click on this player group, and then I'm actually going to come up here and click create asset, and I want 2 sprites. So I'm going to type 2 down here.
I was paying attention.
Sprite and create. Well, you're not supposed to touch fire in real life or in games most of the time. So I'm going to click on this player group, and then I'm actually going to come up here and click create asset, and I want 2 sprites.
So I still missed it.
In real life or in games most of the time. So I'm going to click on this player group.
Okay, so sprites, I just have it like that. And then he said we're going to create an asset. So we're click here.
And then I'm actually going to come up here and click create asset, and I want 2 sprites. So I'm going to type 2 down here and press sprite and create. And it makes them both right there in our group.
It did not for me.
I'm going to go to import, and in the Fire Jump user assets, get art assets.
Hold on, it did not do what you said for me, so I gotta put them in here. There we go. And then it says it's gonna make fire.
Whichever one you're using, and we're gonna grab SPR player G.
And save images, right? Oh, here we go. I have it all over here. I also don't know how to get my computer to show the pictures. I can't see what it is. We'll use this one.
Jump. And then we're also going to go into sprite 6 that we've got here. Press import and grab SPR player fall. Now we've got both of them.
This one. Okay.
These, but remember that when we're bringing in new sprites, we want to make sure that the origin is the same on them. And for our player, we want the origin to be middle center on all of these. So I'm going to middle center on this one and on this one. Now, if you're bringing in a lot of sprites, it might be helpful to know that you can actually change the default that the origin gets set to. If you go to File, Preferences, you can go to the Sprite Editor, and right here you have the default sprite origin. So right now it's set to top left. If you go to File, Preferences, you can go to the Sprite Editor, and right here you have the default sprite origin. So right now it's set to top left, but we could change it to middle center, press Apply, and whenever we bring in a new sprite, it's going to automatically be in the middle center. This is my preferred spot because most of my sprites end up being in the middle center, so it just saves a little bit of time, and that way if I forget to do it, well, it's already done because I already changed it in the settings.
I don't think you're able to hear that. Excuse me. I think that's fine. Yeah, okay. Okay, sorry about that. Wanted to make sure you guys were hearing it too.
Now let's rename these sprites before we forget. So this.
Hold on. Oh, you should be able to hear it. guess I don't need it then. I don't know how this is supposed to work. You know what? Screw it. Okay, so it picks up anyways. Okay. I don't need you. You're good.
This is going to be SPR underscore player underscore jump, and this one is going to be fall. So SPR underscore player underscore fall. So this one we're going to do when we're going down, and this one is going to be when we actually land on a windowsill, a ledge, and we're going to jump up. Now, we actually want this to play for a certain amount of time, and how we're going to do that is we can take the frame down here, and we can actually stretch this. So we can take one sub image here and actually make it multiple frames. So we're going to make this 8 frames altogether, and what that's going to allow us to do is when we switch to this sprite, it will stay there for 8 frames, which is pretty short, but definitely long enough to be able to see in your game. And then it's going to switch. So we can take one fall. So this one we're going to do when we're going down, and this one is going to be when we actually land on a windowsill, a ledge, and we're going to jump up. Now, we actually want this to play for a certain amount of time, and how we're going to do that is we can take the frame down here, and we can actually stretch this. So we can take one sub image here and actually make it multiple frames. So we're going to make this 8 frames altogether, and what that's going to allow us to do is when we switch to this sprite, it will stay there for 8 frames, which is pretty short, but definitely long enough to be able to see in your game. And then it's going to switch right back at the end of its animation. So it doesn't look like it's animated, but you can see that it's playing through all of them right here. So it is an animation, even though it's kind of a still animation. And then the frame speed for the fall doesn't matter because it's not an animation at all. There's just one frame on that. So now that we've got all the sprites we need for right now,
Was there an animation?
is an animation, even though it's all together.
Oh no, you left it at 30.
For right now, we can set up the jump state. So let's go into OBJ player, objects, player, and we're going to go into the collision event with the window. I'm going to press F12 to give me a little more working space. I'm going to open this up a little bit. So right now we have an if check to see if we are going down. So if our V speed is greater than 0, which means we're moving down, and we collide with the window, then we actually get bumped up. But we want to add a little bit to this. We actually want to set the jumping sprite when we collide with this window. So we're going to go and look for set sprite. So I'm going to search for set sprite. And then we just drag this little Pac-Man down here and make sure it's underneath this if variable. And what we want to change it to is the sprite we just set up. So we can actually click on this select an asset, go to sprites, player, and we want player jump. And the frame is which one we start at, and we want to start at the beginning. So now, when we collide with that window, we're going to change to the sprite. But before we test it out, we need to have a way to be able to move in and out of this jumping state that we're creating, because currently if we hit a window, we will just stay like that forever. So what we're going to check for is the end of the animation of our player jump. So I'm going to go to add event. We're going to go under other, which has some really great events that cover things that you'll need in your game, like going outside of a room or intersecting a boundary, or when a game starts, when a room ends. The thing we're going to use right now is the animation end event. So this gets run when any animation for this object finishes playing. That means that when this event runs, we've reached the end of the animation, and we know we want to switch back to our firefighter going up into the air. But we do want to be careful, because we will have other animations that will be playing through this object, and we have other sprites. So we're going to add an if check here, if variable, and the variable we're going to check is called sprite underscore index, and it's a built-in variable, and we're going to check to see if we are on our jumping sprite. So SPR underscore player, and you can see the sprites even autofill in here, which is really, really handy. So jump is what we're looking for. So if the animation ends and our player is using the jump sprite, then we're going to change that sprite using that same code block we used before for setting sprite. So we'll drag it down here. We got to make sure that it's actually underneath our ifs variable here, and we want to change it back to our SPR player air. We can set it to frame 0, and it does not need to be relative. And voila! Now we can switch between these sprites exactly as you would expect. So let's go ahead and run it and
Test. Give it a few seconds. Oh. Let me do that again. Hold on. I was not paying attention. Ooh. Well, it's playing a little too long. And I have not been able to figure out the spacing for the windows here. It plays a little too long, so we might have to cut it. And then I have to figure out the spacings for this, because it's still very spaced together. Because as you see, I can get the double... Oh, I wasn't paying attention. I get that double window. See, I get the double window, and now it's too far up. Like, how close does it have to be? Do I have too many windows? I might have too many windows. I might just have too many windows. Probably just might have too many windows. Let me see if that deleting one worked. But now it's too high. And no, because that comes back. I do not know how to get rid of that double window problem. I do not know how to get rid of that double window problem. Oh.
was a little slow to that. Oh, stupid phone got me distracted. No, I still have that dumb window problem. I honestly don't know what's causing it. Is it just the spacing on my windows? Okay, you know what then? Delete, 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 delete. Delete. First window will be right there. And then we'll go here. So he hits about right here, so probably another window right above there. About right here. Probably another one over here. Another one like right here, maybe. So then probably another one like right here. Like right here. A little higher then. I still get that double window. And I still got that double window. I still got the double window. Move these down a little bit more. Space that out a little that way. Space it out a little that way. Bring this one in. I guess that should be fine, right? See what happens if we add like one more. Nope, I get the double window. And this playing a little too long. Okay, we can delete this one. Go back here. Let's go back to jump. It plays a little too long. So what if we put it to 6 frames? Still a little too long for me. What about we move it to 4 frames? A little too long still for me. 3 frames. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so I'm gonna go to player. So that way we can set fall animation.
Check it out. So that's what we're looking for. If you want the animation to be shorter or longer, you can increase that frame size. And if you don't like it, then you can take it out, because remember, it's your game. You can do whatever you want with it. But that takes care of changing between the sprites that we've got, and that's a tool you're going to use very often, because one object will oftentimes have many sprites associated with it, and depending on what kind of game you're making, you could even have dozens of different sprites associated. Like an item object could have any of the item sprites that you could have in your entire game. So knowing how to switch between them and knowing how to check which sprite is currently attached to that object are really useful skills that you will continue to use in all of your games. Next up is the fall state. So now we want to tackle when we're going down. So we've got a change for when we're going up, but now we want to use that SPR player fall sprite when our V speed becomes greater than 0. And how we're going to handle transitioning into this is by adding another event. This time go to step, and we're going to go to end step. So as its name suggests, the end step triggers after the step event. So that means that everything inside of here runs first, and then the end step code will get run, which is exactly what we're looking for, because we want to transition only at the very end if everything else is how it should be. So we're going to grab an if variable. This is one that we're going to continue to use over and over because of how powerful and useful it is. So we know how to check when our player is going down. We look at the V speed, and we check to see if it is greater than 0. And if it is, we're going to set this sprite, and we're going to set it so we can type it in here if we know the name, which we do. So SPR player fall. And the frame starts at 0, just like how we want. So let's go ahead and test this because it's everything we actually...
Vamos a ver. Oh, there it goes. Whee! Okay, that's kind of weird how it's picking up like right there. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I see. So, wait, hold on. Then, how do I have the window? I have it set to there. Then why am I still bouncing like here? That's weird. Let me see. Hold on. I don't use it. Okay, so I think it's the character then, right? I think it's the spray. Let's see here. Those just play when falling down. Well, it's tiny. Move it to this area. Left 64, top 264. And then 173, 374. All right, yeah, 173 and 374.
Okay, does that change anything? Yes, it does. Okay, I thought I was just freaking out and something was not working probably. But no, I also had to change the... Yes, and now it's too tall. Okay. Okay, I'll figure out that double window thing soon. But I think it's how I have this. Space it out a little bit. In the middle. Space it out this way. One more maybe? Okay, back to this.
What you need to do to have all of our jumping states work. So you see that? We are jumping up,
Oh.
falling down. Everything is working exactly as you would expect right there. So the way that it functions is when we collide with this window, most of our code gets run. The end step triggers all the time, but the collision event with the window sets it to the jumping sprite, and then right after that's done, it goes into the air sprite. And then at the end step, if we are falling down, it transitions to the falling sprite. 3 different states for 3 different sprites, and it works perfectly. Now, one very important thing to note is that when you're changing sprites,
Yeah,
the
he's talking
mask
about what I
for
just dealt
your
with.
character or your object is also going to change. So that means that when we changed our player air collision mask to right down here, that is how we want it when we are playing the game. We want this to basically be the same for the entire gameplay. But as soon as we switch to, let's say, SPR player jump or fall, that collision mask is going to get changed to this one. Or in the case of fall, it gets changed to this one. That causes some serious
He just-
issues because
He's
this is
talking
not
about what
the
I just
same
dealt with.
size mask. It is not in the same place, so it can make your game do unexpected things. Fortunately, we don't actually need to change the mask for all of these. We can go into OBJ player, and the collision mask
Oh,
right
that
now
was a
is set
thing.
to the same as sprite, but we're going to actually change it to the player SPR player air. So that one custom collision mask we created is now the collision mask that will get used
Oh,
all
I changed
the
it
time
manually.
for our player. This is something that is really easy to overlook, but when you are using multiple sprites and you are checking collisions, be sure that they either all have the same collision mask or you set a collision mask for that object to always be the same. This can cause so many problems when you are checking to see if you are colliding with something when you don't think you should be. So keep that in mind. Collision mask, you can set it manually right here. So next up, we're gonna tackle spawning in the civilians. So down here in sprites, let's go ahead and right click and make a new group. This one is gonna be for civilians. And now we've got 3 different civilians that we're gonna use. So I know we need 3 sprites. So I'm gonna click on create asset, set it to 3, choose sprite, click create. And then I'm going to bring over the assets that we've got here. Now, when a new sprite is created in GameMaker, the default size for it is 64 by 64. So if we were to drag one of these images, which is much higher resolution, onto the sprite editor, well, it depends on where you put it, you're going to have a different action. So if you put it down here, it's going to actually want you to resize the sprite you're bringing in. So you can scale the image or the canvas, but either way, it's not going to be what you're looking for. Click apply, and now all of a sudden this is really low resolution. You can still kind of tell what it is, which is pretty impressive, but it's certainly not what we want. So I'm going to click on this and delete it. And then instead, when we drag a higher resolution sprite into our game, we want to put it up here, and then GameMaker will automatically resize it and have it fit properly. Then we can grab the second animation and drag it down here, and now it is inside here just the way we're looking for. Now this animation is way too fast at 30 frames per second. So we're going to set it to 4, and I think that looks pretty good. And we're going to rename this to SPR Civilian 0. And then let's go ahead and do the same for the other two. So scroll down, and I think that looks, and for it is 6. Set it manually right here. So next up, we're going to tackle spawning in the civilians. So down here in sprites, let's go ahead and right click and make a new group. This one is going to be for civilians. And now we've got 3 different civilians that we're going to use. So I know we need 3 sprites. So I'm going to click on create asset, set it to 3, choose sprite, click create. And then I'm going to bring over the assets that we've got here. Now, when a new sprite is created in GameMaker, the default size for it is 64 by 64. So if we were to drag one of these images, which is much higher resolution, onto the sprite editor, well, it depends on where you put it, you're going to have a different action. So if you put it down here, it's going to actually want you to resize the sprite you're bringing in. So you can scale the image or the canvas, but either way, it's not going to be what you're looking for. You click apply, and now all of a sudden this is really low resolution. You can still kind of tell what it is, which is pretty impressive, but it's certainly not what we want. So I'm going to click on this and delete it. And then instead, when we drag a higher resolution sprite into our game, we want to put it up here, and then GameMaker will automatically resize it and have it fit properly. Then we can grab the second animation and drag it down here, and now it is inside here just the way we're looking for. Now this animation is way too fast at 30 frames per second. So we're going to set it to 4.
Okay, hold on. How did he get it to...
Set it to 3, choose sprite, click create. And then I'm going to bring over the assets that we've got. Here. Now, when a new sprite is created in GameMaker, the default size for it is 64 by 64. So if we were to drag one of these images, which is much higher resolution, onto the sprite editor, well, it depends on where you put it, you're going to have a different action. So if you put it down here, it's going to actually want you to resize the sprite you're bringing in. So you can scale the image or the canvas, but either way, it's not going to be what you're looking for. You click apply, and now all of a sudden this is...
I still missed it. What the heck did you do?
Resize the sprite you're bringing in. So you can scale the image or the canvas, but either way, it's not going to be what you're looking for. You click apply, and now all of a sudden this is really low resolution. You can still kind of tell what it is, which is pretty impressive, but it's certainly not what we want. So I'm going to click on this.
What if we do 10 frames?
Delete it. And then instead, when we drag a higher resolution sprite into our game, we want to put it up here, and then GameMaker will automatically resize it and have it fit properly.
Yeah,
then we
6.
can grab the second animation and drag it.
Okay, I completely forgot to do something. Hold on. But I had to text the small group.
Get down here, and now it is inside here just the way we're looking for. Now this animation is way too fast at 30 frames per second. So we're going to set it to 4, and I think that looks pretty good. And we're going to rename this to SPR Civilian 0. And then let's go ahead and do the same for the other two. So scroll down, not in the sprite, but down in GameMaker just a little bit. I'm going to grab Civilian 1A, put it in here, and then 1B, and we'll do the same for 2, and then we'll rename them and change the speeds. There we go.
Sounds good, sounds good. How long have I been at this? Almost an hour? We'll stop in a little bit. So we have other ones. Oh, I started at the bottom one. Okay, but same concept. Oh. So we'll grab sprite, civilian, this one. Bottom. Do the same. Okay, and then I'm going to quickly save my work. I think that's okay. Okay, back to it. What else you got?
We also have the rescued sprites, which we'll use in a little bit, but for now I'll put them away. Let's go ahead and rename these SPR Civilian 1, change the FPS to 4, change this one to SPR Civilian 2, and change its FPS to 4. Now we have them named correctly, in the right group, at the right speed. So now we've got the civilian sprites that we're gonna need, but we don't actually want the origins of these sprites to be in the middle center. Remember that the SPR window, we set its origin to be right there in the center. So what we're gonna do is actually spawn our civilians right on this origin. But that means that for the civilians, we don't want them to be spawned in the middle of their image here. We actually want it to be bottom center, so right down here.
So for all of them, bottom center.
going to change it to bottom center for each one of our sprites. And now, when we create those objects in the game, they will be put exactly where they're supposed to be. Now, they have a little bit of a transparency down here and they kind of fade in, and that's because there's going to be flames in the window. So you can imagine right here, this is what it's going to look like. We're going to put that civilian inside the window, just right there. So with all that out of the way, now we can create our civilian object. And you might think to yourself, well, I've got 3 civilian sprites, so I'm going to make 3 civilian objects. But as we saw earlier, you don't need to have a unique object for all of the different sprites you want associated with it. We can actually create one object for all 3 civilians because we're going to have them basically act the same. So this would be the idea of a parent, which we used in the last part, except now it's just one object, so we don't actually have to have them have a relationship like that. We are going to have them have a parent for the move parent so that they do act like everything else in the game, but we only need one object. So let's create object. We're going to name it obj civilian. And you can give it a sprite, so I'm going to give it the first sprite we've got here, and it's not going to matter too much because we're actually going to change that sprite randomly when we create this civilian in the game. But for now, it helps to have a sprite on it so you can easily see it over here in the asset browser. Now let's click on parent and choose obj move parent so that all the logic we have in that then gets translated to this object. So in here, let's add a new event, and we're going to add the create event. And we're going to search for a code block called choose. And this is a random code block in that you're going to get a different number every time you call this. And what this does is it's just going to choose from the options that you have available and return one of those. So we want SPR civilian 0, and if we need more options, we can click this little plus right up here. We want SPR civilian 1, and then one more option for civilian 2. So SPR civilian 2. And the target, what we're gonna do with this is actually the sprite index. So what this system does is it's going to choose one of these 3 sprites and assign it to the sprite index of this object. And that's all we have to do there. So this is really little, but really powerful. We're gonna get a different civilian sprite every time we make an object. Now the civilians here are gonna act a little bit different than the windows. Currently, when our windows go outside of the room, we just then move them back up to the top. But for civilians, because we have this create code, we have to actually destroy them when they leave the room, when they get too low, and then create them again. So we're going to add a step event inside of here, and we're going to check to see if we are outside of the room. So we're going to grab the if variable, and we're going to check the Y position of our civilian. And if it is greater than room height plus 350, we want to destroy it. So under here in instances, we can destroy an instance.
What is it?
And we don't need
Plus
to add anything to
350.
it because we're just going to destroy ourselves. The next thing we're going to tackle is getting the civilians spawning inside of the room. But when we create them, we actually need them to be on a specific layer. We want them to be between the player and the window. We want to make sure that they're never on top of or below either of those, because otherwise it's going to look really, really weird. So inside of our room, we're going to add another layer.
Oh, nothing's showing on my stream. What? I didn't switch back. Oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing. That's fine. I didn't make a lot of progress. We're fine. I was like, why is nothing showing on my stream?
And it's going to be another instances layer. And this one we're going to name
We're fine. We're fine. We're fine.
spawns. So this is going to be for anything that we're spawning, such as the civilians in the windows and the civilians when they jump outside of the windows.
Oh, I missed what was happening there.
Another layer here. And it's going to be another above or below either of those, because otherwise it's going to look really, really weird. So inside of our room, we're going to add another layer here. And it's going to be another instances layer. And this one we're going to name spawns. So this is going to be for anything that we're spawning, such as the civilians in the windows and the civilians when they jump outside of the windows when they are rescued. So make sure it's in between these, and you'll have some layering and depth issues if you don't. Now, let's open up OBJ window, because inside here we have a step event already. So what we're going to do is add on to this if variable to see if we should spawn a civilian when it gets moved to the top. So down here we're going to do another get random number, and we're going to put it just down here, so it's going to be linked right there, and it's going to be another integer. And right now we're just going to do 0 and 1. Later on we will add more for more options, and you can change how often a civilian gets spawned, but for now we're just going to have 2 options. We're going to create a temporary variable called chance, and we're going to reference this as we get further down. But we are going to use a new code block here, and this one is going to be called the switch. Now, a switch is kind of like an if statement, but it's a lot easier to read and to have many different cases instead of just whether it's true or not. So let's grab this switch, and we're going to put it down here, all inside this if variable. And this switch, we're going to have it be based on the value of chance. And then for a switch case, we need to grab the case structure, place it in here, and now you can see that we have lots of layers to this. And if you want to move around like I'm doing, you can middle mouse button click, and then you can move around like this. And so we've got a switch statement at the bottom based on the chance, which right now can be a 0 or a 1. So we're going to check to see each of those different cases.
Change
if
that
it is a 0, then we're going to create that civilian. So I'm going to search for create, and it's going to be under instances. We're going to drag it onto the side here. So we want to make a civilian. So I'm going to click on this, choose assets, go to objects, civilian, and we're going to do relative x and y based on the window that we're spawning it on. So our Windows origin is on that windowsill, and we're going to make it at x and y, which is the origin. So we're going to create it here, but if it's not relative, then it would actually get made at 0x and 0y inside of our room, which would be way up here, and that's not at all what we want. So make sure relative is checked, and the layer here has to be spawns. Make sure it's spelled correctly, otherwise you're going to get an error and it will not work. So with that, now it is going to create a civilian on the window when the 0 gets chosen of the random number here. We can fill out more cases as we go along, but for now we don't need to worry about that, simply because if it chooses a 1, then nothing is going to happen. What's cool about a switch is you can have as many cases as you want, and you can also have what's called a default case, which means that it will get chosen if nothing else is found to be the correct case. But that's kind of besides the point, just something to keep in mind. Switches are great when you have lots and lots of different options and you want each one to do something specific. And now we are almost ready to test this out, but before we do that, we need to actually change which window we're looking at. So if we go to our sprites, you'll remember that we've got 3 frames inside of here and they're not animated. Instead, we want to select one of them for whenever we choose a civilian. Now, we don't want the first one, we want the second one. Now, what's confusing about it is that GameMaker starts counting at 0 for many different things, including the sub-images or frames that we have here. So you can see that the 0F stands for the 0th frame. And this window, the second one, is actually the first frame when you're counting starting at 0. And that's something important to keep in mind. So let's go back to OBJ window. And under create instance here, we're going to set that sprite that we want. So here, the Pac-Man, we're going to grab. Under here, we're going to set sprite to SPR. And it's going to be window, but the frame is going to be 1. So we want to make sure that it's on the second frame, which is actually the first frame because we start at 0. Now, let's run our game.
Did my music stop? Yes.
And check this out.
Okay. Running our game and checking it out. There are civilians. Sorry, civilians, I'm leaving. They're spawning a little too quickly. Nice. Okay. So we're spawning at them in the masses. They still spawn very weirdly. And then some don't have a spawn. I'm just passing by them all. I'm just passing by them. Still can't get over the window placement here.
So we should now have random civilians inside of here. And there they are.
See, he doesn't
They
have
move
that.
down with us. They are animated. They're in the flames. That is perfect. But we have one small issue where you kind of just saw it. That window has no one in it, but it has a...
I want to say it's just my window placement here. So it's just it's bothering me so much and it doesn't go away. See, like, how does that... This is caused by something here. It's caused by one of these because that's what it uses to spawn them. Do I have to be closer? No, and then it's gonna keep spawning like that. Just spread you out. Nope, those two are still spawning like that. Don't know why. I don't know how Aid is not dealing with any of that.
flame. and that's because we're not resetting the actual window sprite back to 0. We're going to grab the set sprite right before the switch case, and we're going to choose the SPR window.
I missed what he did.
Actual window sprite back to 0. We're going to grab the set sprite right before the switch case, and we're going to choose the SPR window, and we're going to make sure it's on frame 0. So now when it goes through and the window moves back up to the top, it will change back to the first sprite, the first frame, and it won't have any empty.
You know what? Let me just move you in, because it needs one to get in there. How close does he have his?
When the window moves back up to the
Pretty close.
top, it
Nope, they're still there together. Nope, I don't know why they're gonna be like that. Whatever.
will change back to the first sprite, the first frame, and it won't have any empty flames. There we go. So that fixes all of that, and you can see that it runs really smooth. This is coming along really, really well. We've got an infinite game that we can play here. We've got civilians, we've got them all moving, we've got parents. So far, you've already learned a tremendous amount just in these two parts, but we're not even done yet, and there's still a lot more to do. And now we're gonna set up the system to be able to rescue our civilians. So in the civilians group, I'm gonna create 3 new sprites. And at the top, I'm going to click on import, and I'm going to find civilian rescued 0, bring it in. We're going to rename this to SPR civilian rescued 0, and I'm going to do the same thing for the next 2. Import civilian rescued 1.
Okay, hold on. Okay. And it's gonna be this first one, because I messed it up.
And civilian.
Okay, so we're gonna do SPR civilian rescue 1. Two. And 3.
Rescued 2. So this is what we're going to have the civilians switch to when we rescue them. Where they get these parachutes from, well, I guess we're just carrying a lot on us. But one thing we do need to change is from middle center or top left to bottom center. So all of the civilians are going to have bottom center origins. Otherwise, they're going to warp around and it's going to look really, really weird. So make sure you change those origins to match. Now let's open up the OBJ civilian object. And in the create event, we're actually going to make our own variable. So we're going to look for a sign, and this is called a sign variable. Now, the name of it is we're going to set this to rescued. And we can put any name we want in here. You can't reuse the built-in variable names. Those are off limits. But everything else is pretty much up for game. And what we're doing here is creating a variable specifically called a Boolean, which is either going to be true or false. That's all that is. It just is a way for us to be able to check at any time if we have rescued this civilian or not. It's information that we need to know, and there's no way that GameMaker has it built in for us. So instead, we need to put this inside of here so that we know if we have rescued them. And we can check this anytime we need to. For the value, we're going to set it equal to false. So it can be false or true. When we rescue them, we'll set it to true. So let's create a new event for the civilian, and it's going to be under collision, and we're going to collide with the player. So we're going to check to see when we're colliding with them, just like how the player collides with the windows and moves them down. Now we're going to have the civilian check to see if we are colliding with the player, because if we are, then they are rescued. So we're going to add the if statement inside of here. So right here, if variable, and we're going to check rescued. What we did in the create event was make this variable that we can check anywhere in any of the code for our OBJ civilian, which is why we made that in the create event. So if rescued is equal to false, so we haven't saved them yet, then we are going to assign a new variable here, right under common, right there. We're going to assign a new variable, and we're assigning rescued, so we're going to change it, and we're going to change it to true. And this system allows the civilian to only be rescued once, because we might collide with them multiple times, but we don't have to worry about it because this is only ever going to trigger when it's false. And as soon as it triggers, it sets it to true. So it only happens one time. Now, for the rest of this, we need to take that civilian, move it up, change the sprite, and then have it fall back down to Earth. So let's start by setting the speed. So right up here, we can set speed underneath after assigning the variable. We want to do the vertical speed, and it's going to be -18. So we're going to have them kind of jump up like the player does. But then we're going to set the gravity force. So inside here, we're going to set gravity for this object, and it's going to be at 0.5. So they're going to go up a little bit, then they're going to start coming down. Now the question is, how do we know which sprite to assign? Well, we can use another switch statement. So search for switch, drag it right down here, and then we're going to have 3 different cases. So I'm going to go ahead and grab these 3 cases right here. And the cases that we have are the different sprites that this OBJ civilian could be. So what we want to check is our sprite index. And the first one we're going to check is SPR civilian _ 0. Then we have SPR civilian _ 1. And the last one that it could be is SPR civilian _ 2. So these are the 3 different sprites that this object can be. And if it's the first one, or I guess the 0 with 1, then we're going to change it to the proper sprite of that civilian floating down with their parachute. So now we're going to set a sprite here. So I'm going to drag this in for each one of these as well. And we already know which sprite it should be, so we can just choose right here. So for civilian 0, we want civilian rescued 0. for civilian 1, civilian rescued 1, and civilian 2, same thing. And there we go. Using that, we can now rescue our civilians. So let's run the game and test it out. I think you'll see that this small little change is going to suddenly make the game much more interesting and fun to play. There we go. We can now rescue.
Let's see. Woo, woo. Oh, that's so cool. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, I'm smiling. Oh, I'm so happy. Still can't get over the double window thing. Oh shoot, I missed it. Awesome. And let's finish this off.
Rescue civilians, they change, and everything is working exactly as you would expect, which is really, really cool. So one thing that you may notice is that when we rescue those civilians, they actually pop out and we are in front of them. And that's fine, but it might be better if the civilians are actually in front of us to show that they are clearly rescued, coming down, and that we're not covering them up at all. And the way we've been doing that up until this point is by having different layers, but we don't need to make a new layer specifically for this. Instead, we can control the depth. So every layer has a depth built in, and each layer you can check the depth of that layer. So the background has a depth of 300 and it goes up by 100 for each layer. So you can see the depth of all of these. So a less depth is closer to the screen than, so when it's being looked at, that's the thing you see first. So what we can do is actually change the depth of the civilian that we've just rescued. And we're going to want to do this with all of them. So what we're going to do is place a new block right up here before the switch. And this block is going to be the set instance variable. So we're going to drag this up here above the switch. And what we're going to change is the depth. And what we're going to change it to is our OBJ player. And then we're going to put a period, which allows us to access the built-in variables and data about our player, dot depth, and it's going to be -10. So whatever depth our player is at, we're going to move this civilian 10 closer to the screen. So if we run this, it'll be the easiest way to understand it. Every single layer has a depth and it's stacked on top of one another. So now when we rescue them, they are in front of us. So by accessing the depth of our player and then moving the civilian 10 less, it actually moves it closer to the screen. And I think that looks really great. But again, your game, you're customizing here. If you don't like it, feel free to change it and make it exactly how you think looks best. So as we're going through rescuing civilians, what we need to have is a score system. So we're going to add a little bit of a HUD so that we can...
I'm going to pause it here and then work on it later. Now we're going to go ahead and switch. I went 100 minutes. No, not 100 minutes. What am I talking about? I went over an hour, which is good. I got a lot done. It doesn't look like it, but I did. And now I'm going to switch over to just playing a game. I said I was going to do Lost Ark. Because why not? Why not? Fix my desk too, because I also had that set up a certain way. So we're going to do... just a regular screen. So we're gonna do this. Transform back this to full screen. Lock it. And then move myself. Bonk. Minimize myself. I mean, make myself a little bigger. That's okay, I guess. Little small. That's fine. That's fine. And then we just kapook. Aja. So I'll be right back. Never mind. dog didn't want to pee. Game doesn't want to launch now. It was working just a while ago. Now it doesn't want to. Okay, it shows it's running. Oh, does it usually take this long? Oh, excuse me. You know what? Let me stop it from Steam. Stop. Yes. Launching from Steam. There we go. That worked. I gotta wait for it to launch. Oy, oy, oy. Is Lost Ark on console? I don't think it is. I don't think it's on console. Still waiting. Okay, here we go. I'm still so excited for the first Descendant. I can't wait for it to come out. But it comes out next month. Ugh. Comes out next month. Ugh. There we go. It's been a while since I played this game too.
Photosensitive seizure warning. If you or anyone in your family have an epileptic
was a
condition,
place
consult your
on
physician
earth.
prior to playing Lost Ark.
What was that? Ooh, there's been a bit of an update.
Select if you would like game entry narration assistance.
I do
Press
not.
F to turn narration assistance on. Press enter to continue with narration assistance off.
Okay, so I gotta get back. Ooh, I gotta get back into how I
I want to go back into playing Who. I want to catch these all up to my 31. But I'll keep playing as my gunslinger. Oh, no, 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 not Power Pass. No. Watch. I don't know why I made that one so pale. I made her so pale. I honestly didn't mean to.
How wonderful. I'm pleased.
Okay, so I completely forgot how to play everything.
Resting place become a passion pile.
What?
Don't cry.
Evil, share it. Taste my blade. Careful. Poke my eye out.
I might have to just play all over again. And it'll be a perfect time to make a new character.
How wonderful. I'm pleased.
Evil, share it. Taste my blade. Careful. You almost poked my eye out. You are doomed. Evil, share it. Taste my blade. Careful. You almost poked my eye out. You are doomed.
Because I do not know how all this works anymore.
Careful. You almost poked my eye out. You are doomed. Evil, share it. Taste my blade. Careful. You almost poked my eye out.
Well, I still never learned of the card thing, so I don't know what I'm doing.
Careful! You almost poked my eye out. Evil share it. Taste my blade. Careful! You almost poked my eye out. You are doomed. Evil share it. Taste my blade. Careful! You almost poked my eye out. You are doomed. Evil share it. Taste my blade. Careful! You almost poked my eye out. You are doomed. Evil share it. Taste my blade. Careful! You almost poked my eye out. You are evil share it. Taste my blade. Careful! You almost poked my eye out. You are doomed. Evil share it. Taste my blade. Careful! You almost poked my eye out. You are doomed. Evil share it. Taste my blade. Careful! You almost poked my eye out. You are doomed. Evil share it. Taste my blade. Careful! You almost poked my eye out. You are doomed. Evil share it. Taste my blade. Careful! You almost poked my eye out. You are doomed. Evil share it. Taste my
There's so much stuff I got from not playing.
Careful! You almost poked my eye out.
Oh, I equipped.
How wonderful. I'm pleased.
Wow. I have way too much stuff. Oi! Scared me, man.
Hey, let go. Let go.
How wonderful. I'm pleased.
What do you want, Wasted? Is that all this is? Okie dokie.
How wonderful. I'm pleased.
Impressive. Very impressive.
Let's get back into combat here. Okay.
I've been waiting for you. The wind foretold your arrival. The sun is setting now. Are you ready?
I didn't mean to shoot at you.
The sun is setting now. Are you ready to welcome the darkness?
Oh, it's so good. What am I doing? We're going into
There
detention.
is something I must tell you before I begin.
Let's do it. I got it. I got it. Did it.
The blinding rays of dawn bow down to worship. The resting place of thee, Lutera, our eternal king. The sun is rising over Lastra Forest. The place where our hero rests. The Earth has answered our call. Go to Lastra Forest, the land that the sun worships.
That was a little dodgy. Well, these are dope. Where are we going? I'm assuming here. What are you doing? Get out of there. Tasty licks. Oh. Oh, I don't have skins, do I? Just these. Other than that, I don't have any other skin. This way.
Remember to activate your triport. It will help you get around.
Any good news?
Oi.
You've located the tomb of the former king. I knew you'd do it.
I still know nothing about this game.
Remember to activate your triport. It will help you get around.
One, two, again.
My goodness, look at those trophies.
What a splendid place.
I have no idea what I'm doing here.
It's a lovely day to go to the proving grounds. Music has the power to heal your heart.
All on the other side. I like how I can zoom in.
It's an honor to meet you.
Is that it? Bro.
This is the Termia Library. Please keep it down.
Have you heard how other continents are faring?
Skin smithing. Dang, I don't like the pants. I like the boots. Oh, this one looks cool. I like this one. What's this? There's a weapon skin. Oh, I like that one. I like it like that. That one's okay. Erupting waves. Ooh. Ooh. Oh. Oh, I think I have another one. So I need cloth. So let's see here. This one. Was it this one? No, it wasn't this one. Wasn't, which one was it? This one. So clear Aria's Oculus without anyone in your raid dying. Invincible raid. Oh. I don't know how to do any of this.
Flowers for sale! Show someone you care with lovely flowers! I hope they throw a ball or something.
I don't know what any of that is. I might have to play all over again. Oh.
Change will come.
My treat today. Oh, my back.
Goods from across the sea. Eat it while it's hot.
It's time to get back on our feet.
Isn't it nice to wind down at the tavern at the end of the day?
I hope I get more rich and handsome customers.
Who's knocked out on the ground?
Flowers for sale! Show someone you care with lovely flowers!
some, you lose some.
This round is tough. Very tough.
Velvet room. We
We have high expectations for this one.
have a giant rocket.
It's been a while since I've seen a stranger here. What brings you here?
A ghost in there! It saw me! It stole the relic! A curse be upon you, Nahun!
If you still insist on going after that, I won't stop you.
Let's go do that raid while we're here. Why am I not running around? Come on, I'm not dodging, dude. Sheesh, dude. Wow. Oh, I ran into the pumpkins. I forgot that was a thing. Okay, I don't think I'll be able to beat this one. He's by myself. Yeah, whatever. Wee. Nice.
I'm cursed. I've been cursed. Relic? The relic!
Now we get to do a dungeon. We'll do hard, because why not? I am so low level, so behind on everything.
Leave now. This is your last warning.
How about I just kick all your butts? Oh, shoot. That was easy. That was easier than I thought. Oh, there's another thing over here. Secret path. Ooh, secret. Secret, secret. Look, there's another one. Another one. there's another path over here. What do we got? Anything of interest? No? Ooh, boss time.
Shall not defile. Place of peace.
Listen here, Gandalf. Oh.
Your spirit is strong. Your soul is worthy of approaching the Ark. Approach the Soul Beacon.
Hold on, I wanna... Ooh, another one! Okay, I can't do that.
I shall light the beacon for you. Follow the path of the light. Follow that lantern. It will illuminate the darkness and guide you to King Lutera's resting place.
Okay, I have a weapon actually. But good to know I can also drop and fight. Wee. So I can choose either one. Let's go down the path. I think I have to destroy this thing. It seems to work. I guess they all led here, though. We go that way because that's all I see in the map. And I'm out. Bum bum be dum bum be dum. Well, that's cool. Oh, yeah, I knew it. Ooh, another one. Anything over here? Anything over here? No, no, no. Dun 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 dun. Oh, what the? Break! Dang it! Oh no. Oh, oh, I don't know where I'm going. The giant freaking dragon. Run. Oopsie. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. For me, at least, because I've never been this far before. Oh. Is the dragon gonna come out right there? Oh yeah, there he is, there he is. Please tell me I'm gonna fight that thing. Yeah, let me fight you. Let me fight him. Go, 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 go. Ooh, this is fun. Back to the pit which you came. Bet she's gonna come back out. Oh no, I guess not. The tomb.
I've been waiting for you, my worthy successor.
Moi.
You have sought me out through the path of the light. I sense an evil aura growing in strength. A vile power threatens to engulf the world in darkness. Behold the light of creation that bound the archdemon Kazaros. I entrust this ark to you. Protect the mortal realm with its power. There are 6 other arks hidden across the world. You must find them and save the light of the world from darkness. Not yet, not yet. I have this. This is a big, beautiful chest. Look at that. Ooh, look at my stuff. That's all I got. I don't know what it did. I'm gone.
This is the Termia Library. Please keep it down.
Don't tell me what to do.
It took some time, but
Oh, you again.
we found the first arc.
Right, I'm gonna end it here because yeah, I'm gonna end it here. I'm gonna play a little bit more off stream so I can learn how to play again because I haven't played it since I think the first month it came out, and this is one of the few games that I do like. So I'm gonna learn more how to play it, remember how to do things, and I'll be back this weekend. This weekend. I'll do my best to be back this weekend. If not, I won't be able to. If I can't stream, then I most likely won't have. But I'll probably start again with the GameMaker and then into a game. But yeah. Oh, actually, no. This weekend I will be playing with friends some Lethal Company, so I'll probably be on with that. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you all later.